Hello YouTube, I'm LasrOfGaia, and today I'm going to come at you with a rant about getting your friends into Magic. Now, as you know, my friend Kevin has created a YouTube channel. I'll put the link in the description below. But anyway, it took me a while for me to get him into Magic, actually. I want to say it took about 4 months. This was like, he really didn't get the game, and the concepts were hard for him to learn. But I don't really think that's the problem. I think the problem is that I didn't introduce it to him fast enough. Is that I told him, hey. So it was like every Friday night he wanted to hang out because that was when he didn't have sports practice, he didn't have to go to church, nothing. And he's like, hey, where's Nick? I'm like, my mom would be like, he's not here. He's like, where is he? At a tournament. I'm like, the fuck? So he would call me during these tournaments, and he'd be like, well, they're not tournaments, they're pretty much F&M, but he's like, hey, where are you? I'm like, I'm at my tournament. He's like, can I come? He's like, can you play Magic? He's like, what's Magic? And then we got into it. Well, I got him into it. Getting your friends... I'm sorry. Anyway, getting your friends into Magic is kind of difficult for a couple of reasons. One, they may not want to play Magic in the first place. You're just trying to force them into it. Second of all, maybe they just don't care and they're doing it to satisfy you. And then once you say, here's a deck that I made for you, take care of it, and then they lose it, you're like, you don't give two fucking shits. Fuck you. A third reason, maybe they want to play Magic, they just suck. Now, with my friend, Kevin, the problem with that is, I'm just going to be flat out honest with all of you. He sucks. Straight up sucks. Me and him have gone to multiple FNMs together. I've gone to many, many FNMs by myself. But I've also gone with my friends. I've also gone with a couple of acquaintances from school. I've gone a lot. And every time he would go, he'd always play either red-black aggro or black-green dredge, or something that me and him created through just the cards that we had at the time. Now, when I told him, hey, I'm building Devotion, and I showed him the deck list, he's like, what the fuck is this? And I played it, and I built it. I have some of the original cards lying around somewhere. And, I played with him for a little bit with the deck, and he's like, this is Devotion. I want it. Because I take it to FNM and it would go 3 and 2 and 4 and 1 multiple times. I keep getting top 8. He's like, I want this deck. I'm like, it's $140. He's like, fuck. And that's the problem, is that he would play these $20, $30 decks and he would lose. He's like, what am I doing? One, you're playing, this is what I told him, you're playing the deck wrong. You have to do this and that. And he's like, okay, and then he'd never do it. He'd forget the triggers. He'd forget things have haste or if they have death touch. But back to the point. Getting your friends into Magic, it all comes down to if they actually want to play the game. And the only reason I brought Kevin up into this is that he's a great example of what happens when both of you screw up. I screwed up by forcing him to do things, making him spend money on cards when he didn't want to. He screwed up by not really knowing how to play the game correctly. He's like, oh, hand me this tournament-winning deck. I know how to play it. I'm like, no, you don't. Because I let him play my Devotion deck one time, and I was playing a blue-white Flyers thing. I went 3 and 2 with the Flyers, believe it or not. Somehow it worked. And he was playing Devotion, and he went 1 and 4. And he's like, why did I lose so much? It's like, you didn't play the deck right. And believe it or not, I made top 8 with the blue-white Flyers, and this was before Ragnarok rotated out. Probably about 3 or 4 weeks before rotation, when the consoles were first coming out. It's like, you're not playing the deck correctly. And that's also something I want to throw in here, is that make sure that when your friend has a deck, make sure they know how to use it correctly. Make sure you teach them the concepts of the game. And just to sum this whole thing up, here are 3 things. One, make sure your friend wants to play the game, and make sure that if they want to invest, they need to have money. Second of all, make sure that they're playing a decent deck so that when you two play against each other, it's like, holy shit. things are great. Also, our final thing is get them more involved into the MTG community. Let them experience FNM. Let them experience their cards getting stolen. Let them experience them going through a top 8. You know, make them feel the highs and lows of the MTG community, and then they can make their decision if they want to stay or if they want to go. And you'd love it if they stay, because that way you have friends, or sometimes you can teach your siblings, but I've already gotten into that. Oh, I am so sorry. I'm so sorry. But yeah, that way you have, you know, if you guys are bored one day, you can just play Magic, or play Yu-Gi-Oh, or any other thing, really. But anyway, guys, just thanks for listening to my rant. As always, stuff will be in the description below. Be a better player. LasrOfGaia, out.